In this webcast, you're going to discover how to harness the power of social media in 2017. Let's go. Hi everybody, this is Antoine Dupont with Katapult.Marketing, and this is webcast number 21. And today I have a very special guest. I have Yulia, and I'm going to try to say her last name. I promised her I was going to give it justice. Yulia Konovnitsyna. Now it's not you run of the mill. Did I say that right?
You were close. Can I correct you?
Yes, please.
May I?
Yes, please.
So it's actually Yulia Konovnitsyna.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was about to say. So hi, Yulia. Thank you so much for joining the show.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Very cool. So Yulia, for the just a couple of people that don't know you worldwide, please introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, where you work, and what do you do for a living.
Absolutely. So thanks for having me on the show, Antoine. I'm Yulia Konovnitsyna, as I've been introduced already. I am a digital marketer, and I operate a small boutique digital marketing agency out of a small town in South Florida called Delray Beach. Mm-hmm. And we specialize in digital and visual storytelling. That is really our business model. However, to simplify that, we do content marketing, social media management, and email marketing. Those are the three big pillars of our business.
Very cool. And I know you in South Florida. You're one of these, what I would not say up and coming, because you're already there, but you're running an amazing meeting that we have once a month called Creative Mornings, and you're running an amazing. I was absolutely flabbergasted the first time I came. There was 100 people there. It was vibrant. It was fun. Everybody was smiling, got a lot of value, and you're doing an amazing job with that. So that's our connection, and really exciting.
That's a soul project. That's not a job. It's a soul project. But yes, it's all about giving back and reinvesting in our community, and Creative Mornings allows me and my team to be able to do that for South Florida, specifically Palm Beach County.
Very cool. Well, you're doing an amazing job. I'm just floored. I went to quite a few conferences, but I think this is one of the local group that is really amazing. So today, what we want to talk about and what we want to bring value to you, we want to talk obviously with Yulia there about digital marketing, but specifically social media. You see, from our perspective, we just see a lot of things out there. We're seeing, we're seeing a lot of mistakes. We're seeing a lot of people trying hard, trying to leverage what social media is about, how you can use it. And having Yulia there is going to be great, because she is going to give us the things that the professionals know you need to do when you're doing social media. So it's really like listen and then try to emulate and make some notes about what she's going to talk about, because this is how you do it. This is the step-by-step roadmap and how to do it right with social media. So the first one, which actually is interesting, it's not I wouldn't say it's not a tip or a technique or a how-to, but it's about authenticity. And the first point you said to me is authenticity is key. So tell me, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by being authentic? How, as a chiropractor or as a dentist or a doctor or a lawyer, am I going to be authentic?
Absolutely. So this is really, authenticity has been the premises of my generation, the millennials, and it's also been the premises for my business, Straightforward Company. So just to take us back in the days when we didn't have so much clutter, people really connected with people. We had interpersonal communications and relationships, and that was the prevalent way people connected. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, and now at times, the world has changed and everything went digital. Everybody and their grandma has a Facebook profile now. Yeah. There's so many social media channels happening and popping up every day. It's hard to keep track, even for people like us who do this for a living, And so authenticity has become more of a buzzword than really the practice that I feel like that's what human beings are after. And we are very much detached from reality. A lot of the times people go online
Yeah.
do something just for the sake of doing it, or they see somebody else doing it and they just want to replicate it. Now, there's a lot of different people who are very successful on social media, and of course it's good to use them as a benchmark. But the one thing I want to say is you have to figure out your own values, and you have to put that as part of your brand, whether you're a personal brand, a human being who is doing a service to others, or a brand where you're a company and you are selling a product or a service. I think you need to be one of a kind, which is who you are. So coming out there and not just talking about what you do and how you're doing it, but why you're doing it, and really differentiating yourself from all the other people. Because the one thing is, at the end of the day, like a chiropractor, every chiropractor does a little bit of the same thing, but how do you set one apart from the other, right? But each one of them is an individual person. So using that to your advantage as part of your branding and your marketing strategy can really set you apart. Like, let's talk about people in our community, right? In Palm Beach, when we think of a dental office, we probably all heard of Spodak Dental, whether you go there or not. And Craig Spodak, he's famous in the community because he has built a reputation for himself that positively benefits his brand, and he's done it because of a kind of person who he is. He's passionate about what he does. He's knowledgeable about dentistry and medical services, and he shares that freely with everybody else. So he's not hiding behind this facade of, okay, I'm a dental office. He's a person, and he's connecting Spodak Dental with Craig Spodak, and people, they can relate to that. It resonates with them, and that's why they go there. So that was my whole authenticity is key, because you cannot be anybody else.
Right.
Like, the world is cluttered nowadays. You have to be able to showcase some of yourself in your marketing, in your social media.
Right. Be yourself. And what I would add to that is, show behind the scene. I think there is too much fake in it out there. People are trying to pretend that they've got it all figured out, that there's never a breakdown. You might not want to clean up your dirty laundry on social media, but I'm saying, like, sometimes stuff happens in a business that actually makes you real, makes you approachable, makes you palpable. Like, I mean, I'm going to say, like, there's some accounts on Instagram, I see them, and it's like, it's always the perfect setting, right? It's just always everything is perfect. The makeup, if there is now, or the clothes or the car, like, it's just like that whole pretense, and it's a complete turn off. And how you translate that to a small business like a chiropractor or dentist or lawyer is just share what's going on. Like, you can educate some of the stuff that okay, one of the things, like, things happen in your business on a weekly basis that may be interesting for you to share with others. So it's like being real. I think it's just it's the opposite. What Yulia is talking about is the opposite of the pretense.
Yeah, no, it's so true. I agree with that. I think showing the behind the scenes moment, showing the value, showing the people behind the brand or the business, it's so important, because that's what makes the business special. These are people who are running the show, and they started this for a reason. There's a story behind it. So I think you should always lead with that and really use that as a way to do it. And two things. Oh, go ahead.
No, I wanted to say, one of the things that's actually funny is, I have a client in Miami, and they actually created a Facebook private page for them and their staff to be posting content and pictures in order to keep each other motivated and whatnot. And I looked at it and I was like, it's been a couple of months now, and I've already talked to them, and I was like, this stuff needs to go on your page. Everything they're posting there is fun. It's them meeting after hours in a restaurant and all smiling and everything. And I'm like, put that on your Facebook page. That's what people want to see. They want to see, like, fun, and it's like, this should not be private. And I think I have a sense, I know what the pushback is from, because I know the owners, and I know specifically one owner is going to say, "Oh, I don't think that that's professional." And so I hear that, and especially if you have a very strong corporate background, you may
Yes.
think that that's not a good idea. But guess what? We're in 2017. We want to see that.
Exactly. And you know what? It's funny you said that because are you seeing the trends that I'm seeing too? Like this globally, these corporations taking a stand. All of a sudden, like the things we don't talk about, the cliche things like gay rights and
Right.
politics. All of a sudden, that's exposed and everybody's taking stance on it. And it's almost like if you don't take stance on it, it's like you don't care, right? And you're choosing to not speak up and to not voice and harvest the power that you have. So I do think authenticity from that standpoint, the standpoint that you have a voice
Mm-hmm.
and you should exercise your ability to share some of those beliefs, especially if they affect your customers, your clients directly. You should be able to not just share the beautiful stuff, but talk about the controversial stuff as long as it benefits and it's done in a tasteful,
Mm-hmm.
mindful way. And let's think about a company that does it really well. Remember 2017 Super Bowl? Airbnb
Mm-hmm.
made a commercial where they showed a whole bunch of faces and they talked about how refugees should have a home. Of course they got bombarded for that. There was a lot of negative flashback, but it also spoke to the people who resonated with that message. And you know what? 40,000 people from that campaign alone responded and said, I will provide a home for somebody from Syria, from another country that needed, a temporary place to live. And that's beautiful. We can't change the world, but we can change
Right.
someone's world. Brands should use that and be authentic to their belief systems and ethics. I think the world can be a better place.
Right. No, that's awesome. So, point number one, be authentic. And if you don't know, if you're not sure, well, you have a comment below. You can put a comment. You can ask a question to me or Julia and just say, "Hey, I'm thinking of that. What do you think?" Put it in. We'll respond. So that was key. That was point number one. Point number two is connect, don't sell. So you're speaking to the choir here, because I'm a firm believer in this. But tell me what you mean by connect, don't sell. And by the way, I think it goes completely counterproductive to what a lot of business owners want to use social media. They're like, well, if I can't sell anything, why bother, right? So, but first, let's talk about connect, don't sell
Yeah.
from your viewpoint.
So, of course. So I appreciate that. The segue is great, like you started. A lot of companies think that this is just another outlet to bombard people with their products and services. Well, think about it. Like when you go to an event, right, and it's a networking event, if somebody just comes up to you and says, I'm a lawyer, here's my business card, call me when you need help, like what kind of relationship does that start? Like you're probably going to toss that card and forget about this person 5 minutes later. We connect with people face to face. You should think of social media as just another outlet of the same thing that has a lot more capacity. You can connect with anybody in the world in a matter of minutes nowadays, but you should keep it real. You should really connect. You should really get to know people. So the one thing, a person who's inspired me and many other people is Simon Sinek. And he has a theory of the golden circles. And probably most people are familiar with that. And it talks about the power of the why. It asks brands to consider, what is your why? What would you get up in the morning doing even if you weren't paid for it? And so a lot of the times we think of brands as, what are they selling? What is their service? But we don't think about why they're doing it. And that's what people are looking for. At the end of the day, there's always another choice. There's always an alternative. Like there's so many brands that are generic technically, but why do people buy things from a certain provider versus the other? It's because they have this connection, a loyalty that is developed because of the way the company presents itself in a social space and a digital space. And that is key to, creating those long-term, partnerships, connections, and sales. Like my first question from a lot of my clients is, what is going to be my return on investment in social media? And I say, well, first of all, you have to think of it as a long-term strategy. This is not something you can just start a channel and sell them tomorrow. Like that's not going to work like that. You really have to give to receive. You have to invest into your people who follow you. You have to warm them up to yourself. You have to tell them your story which is what we are in business to do. We are a storytelling agency. You know, in the end of the day, yeah, we do social media, but story drives everything nowadays. And so for us, that connection comes from going back to authenticity and going back to transparency and going back to really meaningful, long-term, long-lasting, relationships. And that's what we mean by connect instead of hard selling somebody.
Right. And it's social network. It's not sales network.
Exactly.
So I want to talk about the why bother, because I have some clients that say, you know what, if I can sell on it, then why bother? And the answer is simple. It's because this is where our collective attention is on. As a brand or as a company or any kind of entity that has something to sell, you want to put yourself in front of as many people as possible, or I will say as many eyeballs as possible. And by far, Facebook is the monster in the room. This is, I have Facebook, Instagram, and whatnot, but I'm just going to say, really for a lot of us, Facebook is the 800-pound gorilla. And you want to be there. I mean, you want to participate, because if you don't participate in there, your competition will, and they'll eat your lunch. But then you have to respect the platform. Facebook is not a sales platform. It's a marketing platform. And this is a place where you don't sell. You just say, you just provide value, and you just, you create connections with people with authenticity. This is who we are. And then people all of a sudden start to relate to your brand. And one day they need a chiropractor, and then they see your name on Google, and they don't even know why they are attracted to your brand, but they are. So I think that's inside of that. And I see I would say the biggest mistake that I see in people doing it, and I have quite a few in my feed, is a real estate agent. They are just, awesome at letting you know when they have an open house. Or here they are again, or they're hawking their services as a real estate agent, and it provides zero value. Where you have an enormous opportunity as a real estate agent, because you are the eyes and the ears of a community, and there's so much stuff you could, all that, like basically the community is your canvas. You get to go and drive around, all the best restaurants, all the best schools, all the best park, and each one of those is a piece of content for you to be, sharing that. So that was point number 2. So point number 1, authenticity. Point number 2, connect, don't sell. And then number 3 is build a community. So that's really interesting, and I think it's a great bridge to the third one. So talk to me about, what do you mean by build a community?
Yeah, so you kind of said it right, the bridge, or I call it a full circle.
Mm-hmm.
So we go from being authentic in everything that we do and put out there. We talk about connecting and building long-lasting relationships by being authentic. And now we attract people who are like-minded, who relate to our message, and that's our community. So the premises of our digital age is everybody's so busy, right? You only have so much time to dedicate to any one activity or interaction. And so to really capitalize on your digital marketing this day, you need to have a community, an engaged community, not just an X number of followers. Like that gets you nothing, and sometimes when people buy fake followers, they think, oh my gosh, look at me, I'm like famous now. That doesn't mean anything, because at the end of the day, those people are not even real people, right? This is fake accounts. But to have a community is to have a tribe of people who will vouch for you. The benefit of the community is, think about how information spreads. It's all word of mouth, right? And digital word of mouth is even better than the traditional, on the ground, like in real life word of mouth. Through digital media, and a lot of big companies harness that nowadays. They have brand ambassadors and influencers who are real people, and they become the spread of information, the tribe that markets your brand on your behalf. So that's why it's important to invest in a community. But before you even get there, it's important to build one. And to build one, like you said, you have to give before you receive. And the more you give, the more you get back. And not that you should be even expecting it, but you never know, down the road, somebody comes across your message, it really hits home with them, and they might not be in the market to buy your product, but they might tell a friend, and that friend might tell another friend. And that's how it builds. That's how the momentum builds. And then you don't know where that leads, but it's almost hard to track. But with digital tools, we know that brand awareness eventually is directly tied to conversions and to, new business. And so it's important to think of yourself as not just doing social media for the sake of doing social media, but to really building something that's a very close-knit, tighter, audience for yourself.
Yeah, and I would say community is you can a different way to see it is everybody has raving fans or fans of your brand and whatnot, and there is an amazing amount of leverage you can do with those people. I wanted to say something about that. I was reading an article and we were sharing it here in my in our agency. As an article came out from BuzzSumo, which is an aggregator of data. They just look at all the articles that are in the world and they make sense of it, and they're telling you, here is what's trending. And they basically said that organic reach has been declining steadily since all of 2016, and it's just keep on going down, even with videos now. Which means what I mean by organic, just in case you don't know, is is what I will say the reach of people like your community. If you have 100 followers, you post anything, a video or piece of content. If 10 people like it, that's organic reach. That's just 10 people that actually you're connected with. We're looking at organic reach right now and being around 3%. So if you have 100 people, it's going to reach 3. Now, depending on what they do with it, it may reach another 3 or another 10. But if those 3 people are not doing anything with your content, it's dead, which is why when we look at the Facebook page of a lot of companies, we see a lot of posts on top of one another, which have, they're just completely dead. There's 0 comments, 0 likes, 0 shares. It's because they have very little organic reach and nobody does anything because it's boring content and nothing happens. So we're in an era of pay to play now, which means that if you want to, having a great community is really important, but if you want to reach a wider audience, it's just time for you to put some money. The good news is it's still very cheap compared to Google Ads. Sometimes we have some ads for clients. We put $25, $50 for boost a post, and we'll get 3,000-4,000 people looking at it, and then 150 people will engage with it. Well, that's really a cheap way to actually reach 150 people for $25. I don't know what the conversion is, but it's less than $1, and it's just that's not a lot of money. It's just really paying to help you build your community is not it's not a bad thing. I think it's going to become expensive. Maybe in 2018, 2019, I think we're going to see, because I think Google AdWords is still expensive right now, and Facebook ads are still cheap, and I think it's going to flip. I think, I think that in 2018 and 19 it will be time to go and let's look at Google AdWords again, because Facebook ads are becoming expensive, and that basically wraps it up, right? So, authenticity, number one, be authentic. Don't be afraid to be yourself. There's a matter of fact, you don't have any other option but being yourself. So be yourself. That's fun, right? What you're selling is, well, we know what you're selling. We just want to know you, right? Connect, don't sell. I know you got stuff to sell, but connect with me. Provide value. Everybody has something you can, provide. And then the third one is build a community. I'm going to say something. I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm saying I'm a couple of years older than you, Julia. And I started my first business in 1995. And when I started that business, we had what you did at the time is you did a brochure, and you went to a networking event and you passed out your brochure and your business card. We didn't have social media. We didn't have videos. We didn't have none of this stuff. I mean, it's like, man, you got it made. I was like, man, yeah. It was just like you had to work your entire day, and then go shower, put on a suit, and go at a networking event. Shake hands and stuff, and it was painful. Now, like you can, from home, like just put some stuff and reach thousands of people. Are you kidding me? And you're telling me
You can even automate that. You don't even have to be there. You can just automate it all and have, those ads go out on their own. It's amazing.
that's right. That's right. So, thank you so much, Julia. I think we've provided a lot of value for people that watch this. So, thank you so much for taking the time to taking time out of your busy day to provide value for people out there and try to make sense out of social media.
It's my pleasure. I mean, it's honestly, I think this is almost going away from like the trends of digital, going back to a little bit of human, right? This is the basic things that we see in anthropology, right? This is how people function. The trust is built through, very basic communication channels. And unfortunately, life's not so basic anymore. So you can implement some of the same principles on digital that we have implemented over the course of humanity. And we really, truly believe in that. That's why our agency is called Straightforward Company, because we are all about like going back to that very basic simplicity. We don't need to make things complicated.
Yeah, very cool. So if you guys want to talk with Yulia about what she's up. She's a digital storyteller. Her website is right there. Go check her out. It's straightforwardco.com. I'm gonna put the URL so they can actually, and it will be in the description below, so you can click on it. So listen, if you like this video, please like it right now. There's a little thing, click on it. Or if you're on subscribers, you just go there. And we'd like to hear from you. What did you hear from this webcast? Did something we say resonated with you or got you confused, or you're not quite sure what that means for you? Well, put it in the comments. This video you're either on Facebook or on YouTube. You have the comments right below. Just put in your comment, ask your questions, and we'll do our best to answer it. Now, obviously, this is going to be on my channel, so if it's for Yulia, I will say, hey, Yulia, this is for you. And that's pretty much it. So thank you so much for Yulia for spending the time with me. And until the next creative morning, have a great day.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.